Down the early day one information that we got out of the Sean Diddy Combs trial. There are 12 members of the jury. There'll be 6 alternates. The jury currently consists of 8 men, 4 women, and then here's the thing: they're not sequestered. I think that's going to be a problem to me because they're going to be allowed to go home every night with strict instructions to avoid news coverage in the trial. But you live in New York City, you're going to see whether you log into your phone or TV. But that's on them. These comments are reported to be the opening statement of the assistant U.S. attorney that is prosecuting Mr. Sean Combs. We're going to abbreviate when appropriate, but we just want to give you the absolute allegations that are bombshell allegations that you all want to hear that will come out over trial. The attorney starts. This is Sean Combs. To the public, he was a cultural icon, a businessman that was larger than life, but you will hear about 20 years of the defendant's crimes. He had a team to help him: kidnapping, arson, drugs, sex crimes. Let's start with one night. He was on the hunt for his girlfriend, Cassie. He forced her to have sex with male escorts while he watched and recorded it. Damn. He found out Cassie was seeing another man. Furious, he set out to find Cassie and another man. He woke an employee to drive to the house, but no one was there. The defendant didn't give up. He kept looking for Cassie. When he found her, he beat her brutally, kicking her in her back and flinging her around like a rag doll. But it wasn't enough. He told Cassie he could release video of her having sex with the male escorts. He broke into the man's house and he beat and blackmailed his girlfriend. These are not his only crimes. Cassie is not the only woman he beat and sexually exploited. 20 years of crimes. He had a business, Bad Boy Records, that made him right. He relied on bodyguards, chiefs of staff who ran all aspects of his life. The group promoted his power. His bodyguards kidnapped an employee and set a car on fire, dangled a person over the edge. They delivered drugs whenever he wanted, including to women he forced to have sex with escorts. He transported them across state lines and even out of the country. Let me be very clear. This case is not about a celebrity's private sexual preferences. This was criminal. He coerced and even used violence. Along with this trial, we'll focus on 2 women, Cassie and Jane. We believe that is a Jane Doe. We will show that the defendant used lies, drugs, threats, and violence to force them to have sex with him in front of male escorts. Taking a brief break, they will hear from Cassie, and from what the assistant attorney says, you will hear from the unnamed witness as Jane. Back to the statement. He called them freak-offs, wild king nights, or hotel nights. His staff organized flights, cars, and hotels at his direction. His staff set up the room with lubricant and lighting. The staff came in with cash to pay the escorts and drugs. He made them take what he's calling MDMA or Molly and ecstasy. It made them sick, but also aroused. He directed every step. He expected the women to appear to enjoy themselves. He enjoyed himself and recorded events. Cassie apparently was 19 with a hit song. She tried to work on her music, but the defendant made her turn down many different opportunities. She recorded, but he had the final say over the music she released. There was never another album. He sat Cassie. He also hit Cassie in the head and dragged her by her hair. He stomped on Cassie's face in an SUV. By the way, some of these statements seem disjointed. This is a reporter who was there on the court, and he is trying to make his best shorthand. Back to the statements. Then made her stay in a hotel for a week to hide her injuries. He set up freak-offs as often as once a week. She spent half of her time. The defendant made an escort urinate in her mouth. As you'll see in this trial, he beat her in the hallway of a hotel and dragged her back into the freak-off. Initially, she wanted to make him happy, but then she didn't want to. But the defendant made her. The consequences were severe. He beat her when he thought she took too long in the bathroom. When he said to have a freak-off, she knew she had no choice. She called the escort and put on the performances he wanted. Her safety depended on keeping him happy. Her safety depended on keeping him happy. The relationship was complicated. Both were unfaithful, but only one of them had power. He made Cassie do his bidding in those dark hotel rooms. Cassie was not the only one. This was a pattern. Let me tell you about Jane. She was a single mom that started spending time with him in 2020. She fell in love with him. He was seeing other women. One night, he told Jane about freak-offs and made it happen immediately. He took her to a hotel when an escort was on the way. He directed her step by step. Jane thought it was a one-time wild night. She was wrong. Wrong. He continued offering a real relationship. Jane wanted the escorts to wear condoms, but the defendant did not let them. Jane tried to make it through these nights without the drugs. The first time she broke down and took ecstasy to finish. Another time she vomited, but he said, "Go, do it again." Jane found two men and invited them to join so she could choose the man she'd be intimate with. The defendant discouraged her from working. He had the power to coerce her back into hotel rooms. He threatened her with videos from those freak-offs. From what is reported to be. Not even a year ago, he went to her house. She was angry. She hit him. He became enraged. She tried to hide. She locked herself in the bedroom. He kicked it open. Then the bathroom, the closet, the guest bedroom, he kicked her to the ground. He did not let Jane be. He said, "You're not going to F up my night." He said, "Call up an escort to perform." Jane followed his instructions. His violence got him what he wanted. Cassie will tell you about the time the defendant forced himself on her. Mia, an employee of Diddy, will tell you how defendant forced himself on her, hands always on her, penetrating her. Amidst all this violence, he and his inner circle worked to cover up his crimes. The video at the LA hotel, you will hear how far this went. The defendant offered the hotel security guard a wad of cash, a brown paper bag, allegedly with $100,000 in it, with $100 bills. The inner circle kept Cassie in hiding for days. For all of this, he's charged with multiple federal crimes, racketeering, conspiracy. Cassie and Jane will tell you of the most painful experiences of their lives. You will hear from some of the defendant employees, including his personal assistant, Mia, who was assaulted. She's grappling with a lot, apparently. You will hear the employee he forced into an SUV with a firearm, and from a chef. They worked punishing hours, at times without sleep. They bought drugs for him. They were expected to keep quiet. Some of these witnesses already received settlements. You will also hear from some of the escorts that the defendant directed and filmed them. An escort saw the defendant assault Cassie and drag her by the face during a freak-off. You'll see records from hotels and damage and car services. You'll see text messages in which the defendant tells staff to bring cash for escorts, and by Jane saying she did not want to do the freak-offs. You will see videos in them. You can hear the defendant provide direction to Cassie and Jane high on ecstasy. You will see a video of the defendant brutally beating Cassie during a freak-off in a LA hotel. You will see photos of damage, including to 4 doors in Jane's home not even a year ago. You will see what he had in his home. You will see the agreement with the hotel guard barring him from speaking after he paid the $100,000 for the video. You will hear him manipulate Jane into saying she wanted it. His threats not to pay her home, text to his staff about it. "I ask you to do these 3 things. Pay attention to the evidence, follow the judge's instructions on the law, use your common sense, and you will reach the verdict that Sean Combs is guilty." That is the opening statement from the Attorney, United States, the Assistant U.S. Attorney. We will keep you locked on the opening statements from